our life as those generations depend on me, and I will teach and encourage all mine to do the same. Silverback.
We've seen a tremendous amount of progress. We've heard about it from some of the other teachers.
And I say this in my 26 years, this is the first program that I've seen an immediate impact, especially with boys.
We take a different approach. We don't try to be military and try to have all these strict rules. We understand that, hey, we're going to be respectful, and through that being respectful, we earn their respect, and we're able to cultivate a great relationship.
This episode of Silverback Society News is dedicated to urban agriculture. All across our city, if you look around, there's lots of empty land, vacant lots, some overgrown with weeds, some growing grass, empty land. And then we have children who haven't found things to do. So we have empty land, idle hands, and we live in a fresh food desert. The corner and convenience stores in our communities don't sell fruits and vegetables. And it's been documented that many of the health problems that plague our community are based on not having enough fruits and vegetables in our diet. Hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney disease, cancer of the colon, all of these things can be attributed to a lack of fresh food with the nutrients necessary to maintain our bodies. So why is this? Why is it that we have the land, we have the hands, but we still suffer from a lack of fresh food? This episode of Silverback Society News is dedicated to pioneers in urban agriculture. It's a new movement in America. It's a movement where people are growing food on almost any and every available space of land. How is it that the people who were the mainstay of American agriculture stopped growing food? This episode features pioneering efforts. Sankofa organization is teaching children, young people in our community, the benefits of food and the pleasure of growing food. There's a gentleman who is supplementing his retirement income, growing and selling and enjoying for his family fresh food. And there's a young family who have set out on a brand new adventure, growing high quality organic food and selling it to the best restaurants in the world, right here in New Orleans. So we hope you enjoy this episode, but more than that, we hope you learn that you're not helpless. All it takes is a shovel, a little effort, and you can grow food too.
2013 and 2013. Okay, so who needs another pack? These packs.
Get you something else in. You can't do it.
Is it for 2018? 2013.
You listen to that?
No, so I can't see that song.
Listen to Bounce.
What song?
My name is Makita Roberts. I am Sankofa's Hill Project Coordinator. I am the coordinator with the high school students that work here in the Frederick Douglass Garden. And I'm just the person that kind of puts their activities together, make sure that they actually are learning about health, diet and nutrition, what they grow in the garden, and how that benefits their life as well as the community. And as well as a nice mentor. I'm a 22-year-old Xavier College student and not too far removed from high school, I guess you could say. So I've been able to help them, have the guidance that they need to really be strong youth as they get out of high school.
My name is Carlos Bradley, and I go to Cape Renaissance High School.
My name is Tim Jones, and I go to Cape Renaissance High School.
My name is Robert Roshan. I attend Joseph Clark High School.
My name is Michael Ross, and I go to Cape Renaissance High School.
My name is Kevinisha Burton, and I attend Cape Renaissance High School.
My name is Ramia Miller, and I attend Cape Renaissance High School.
Okay, tell me, how long you guys been working in this garden?
Over almost 2 years.
About a year.
2 years.
Okay.
Almost 2 years.
Why do you do this?
It helps the environment, like the food deserts. It helps them bring organic food into the neighborhood instead of everybody go to Walmart and everything, spending overpriced for vegetables when they come to a fresh crop garden and get better deal for produce.
But why did you do it?
Simply because it is beneficial for anybody. Like, it helps kids to get off the streets from getting out their bed to come and just work with other people, socially.
And you can learn more too about growing too.
What about over here?
I just wanted to make other people healthier and learn about vegetables and gardening and stuff.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's calming. It's relaxing, peaceful.
It introduces fresh foods to the health desert that we have in New Orleans.
I like it because it teaches me more things. Like, at first I didn't know that you can reproduce plants by cutting the stems off it. And then make another plant.
Entertaining.
Educational.
Peaceful too. See, this is pineapple sage. It's a tea. You can make a mixture of it. You should smell some of it. It's very good for you. Like, really good. Good. This is out there, right here. If you know, you can put cucumbers and some vinegar in there and make your own pickles out of this. Like, that's so. When I learned that, that was cool.
The reason why I work here is because of the butterflies. They stay in and out. Like, it's just the smell. It just gives me closer to nature. I just love being here.
Oh, it's a greenhouse. Everybody in the project like decides to grow their own herbs and herbs and stuff like that. So we grew them in the cafeteria of Drew, and then we then water on them and put in the greenhouse and start growing. Oh yeah, here is some of people's plants. We grew them last week, so they're not ready yet, but some of them grew already. Oh, and here's mine. What I grew was tomatoes and watermelon. So like, I think these are watermelon, these are tomatoes. And I'm not sure what this is, but like
They have it labeled. It is watermelon. It's watermelon and tomatoes.
Just like me.
And over here is mine. We have watermelon, squash, peas, and summer squash.
So why you do this?
It calms me down, and it's like good for the habitat, and people learn how to grow vegetables and crop, and they get healthy from it.
Today I'm with Thaddeus and Tamara Prosper, who are the owners of Show Fresh, and they're going to explain what that is to you in just a minute. One of the things that I've been reading about lately is how much of the AAHD in our community may be related to pesticides in the food, pesticides in our homes, and pesticides in the foods that we are feeding our children. And Thaddeus and Tamara have taken on a project where they're going to grow organic food, and they're going to grow it in the city. So kind of tell us how you got this Show Fresh thing started, and what prompted you guys?
I've been growing food for 10 years or so at least for my family. I think the quality and taste of the food is probably what prompted my wife to encourage me to increase the size of our garden at home, which happened about 2 or 3 times, and we found that in some cases we were keeping up with the food, and in a lot of cases the food was, passing us up. So we were having to give it away and sell it or whatever the case. And it got to the point to where people were getting so much food from us that we really couldn't keep up. And I had to get to the point where I was telling people, I can't give you any food because the food's really for my house. So I guess we decided we needed to expand, outside of our yard. So here we are at our new site. It's a property that we own. It's in our community here in Algiers, and we want to use it to, you know, bring fresh, healthy food to the people of this community.
Tamara, what's been the result? We're standing here with a young gentleman who obviously is less than 10 years old. So I mean, he must be the kind of the result of the food that you've been growing. What's been the result of feeding this homegrown food to your children?
Well, they like it. And it's not a struggle to get them to eat to eat fresh vegetables and produce, or really any vegetables. Our children ask specifically for carrots and spinach and broccoli. Those are the things that they really enjoy eating. And so it's not a problem. We don't have to threaten them with something if they don't finish their vegetables. That's good. Sorry, that's really it. We started out with, when our first child was born, he started doing the first garden, and we made baby food for her. So it's been from the very beginning that they were introduced to it.
So children who are introduced to good food early in life kind of just stick with it.
Yes, it's really, I mean, anything you learn as a child tends to stick with you through adulthood. I mean, with behaviors, with attitudes, with anything, and food is just part of that. So, you know, when you learn to do certain things as a kid, if you eat a lot of chocolate cake and fried chicken all the time, that's what you have a taste for, and it's what's good to you. And you associate it with family and happiness and joy. So with our family, it's just that we've got a lot of vegetables, and that's what our kids associate with good as a good thing.
Now I'm going to ask you a question, kind of personal. Any health problems with any of your children?
No. Other than vision, but you know, that's that's a little bit inherited. But you know, one daughter wears glasses. Everything, they're always healthy. They don't really have to stay home from school. They, you know, they don't have a whole lot of problems. They're really very healthy children.
And that's why we're really interested in this project. Behind us is an empty lot that's been acquired by ShowFresh, and their intent is to turn this into a garden that produces food in the neighborhood for the neighborhood. Am I getting that about right?
Yes.
Definitely, the food is for the neighborhood, and you know, the people who have already in this part of the area have been supporting ShowFresh. So,
what do you think about the idea? This is something that's real funny to me. It occurs to me. Most of our audience is going to be African American. The people who grew everything in this country for a while. What would happen? You know, I'm a little afraid if the grocery stores the food was to start getting scarce in the stores. People who grew food for generations, have we forgotten how to grow food?
I think as an American nation, period, we've forgotten how to grow food. But it is ironic that the people who, you know, basically supply this nation with its food sources and, you know, a lot of its other services are, you know, apart from, you know, the bare basic that, you know, we all really need to sustain our lives.
So is this
stigma? I think there's a stigma associated with it. I think people feel like working in a field brings us back to a place of our ancestors where we have been trying to get away from, and it's considered that's beneath us. And now if you look at who's coming in and who's really involved in, even if they're not owning it, who's growing a lot of the food, reaping and harvesting it, it's immigrants who are coming in because they just want to work, and they are viewed, unfortunately, as the lowest group, and that's usually who is growing food for the masses. But we don't have to grow it for the masses, we can just grow it for ourselves.
It's amazing. I've done some gardening myself. It's amazing how much food you can produce in your own backyard. And part of this project is to teach people how to do that, right?
Exactly. We definitely want to bring the power that we possess to the community. There's no reason in an environment where we have over 300 growing days that food should be scarce, hard to come by, or unaffordable.
Or that people should have to go to the grocery store and buy stuff that's shipped from Florida, California, Chile, and don't know what kind of pesticides were used in this growth. That's my biggest concern, is that we're feeding our children chemicals that's actually causing them to have health problems and behavior problems. Any behavior problems with your kids at school and stuff?
No.
I want the middle one to stop being as aggressive as she is. No, I'm just kidding. No problems at all with any of my children.
How they grades? How they doing in school?
All of them are above average. In fact, my oldest daughter attends a pretty well recognized school here in the city, and she took
Don't say the name, man.
She goes to ISL.
Okay.
It's a language immersion school, and they took the I-Leap, which is the pre-leap, and she scored the highest in the school. So
it didn't hurt them. So, ladies and gentlemen, please keep your ear tuned to organic food. We're gonna follow this project and keep up with it. We want to involve Tammy and Thaddeus to be part of the show to help you understand how you can improve life for your family by feeding them better. Thank you, guys. Thanks for getting up this morning and coming out to see me. How you doing this morning, man? You want to say something to the people? Huh? Say something.
Yeah.
Or just say something.
Say keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh.
I like that. Say that again.
Keep that fresh.
There you go. From the mouths of babes. Till next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi. You know who I am. I'm standing next to Calvin Alexander, who is an urban farmer. Calvin, you used to work for a local company, right?
That's correct.
A national company.
Right.
And he's retired, and what he's doing in his retirement is turning sunshine, water, and dirt into food. So how'd you get started doing this, John?
I was almost born doing it.
Okay.
My maternal and paternal grandparents were both farmers.
Okay.
They grew up in northern Mississippi. I grew up in Memphis, and of course by that time my mother's parents had moved to Memphis and bought a nice big corner lot, about an acre.
Okay.
And my granddad always had pigs, chickens, guinea fowl, and a big garden.
Okay.
So I've actually been actively gardening since I was about 8 years old.
So you understand in very deeply the connection between working land, producing food, and good health.
Right.
I've always noticed that people who garden tend to be some of the healthier people. They live longer. And what's bothering me in our community now is we have all these health problems.
Right.
And many of them are now being associated with a lack of fresh food.
Correct.
And tell me, it bothers me because there's three things in our community that should not exist at the same time.
Right.
We have a fresh food desert.
Okay.
You know, in some of our communities, you know, the corner stores, if they carry bananas, they're really doing good.
You're right.
You know, there's no fresh food available in the community. But then we have empty land, empty lots that are overgrown with grass, right?
Right.
And the city's paying to cut them. And we have idle people, young people who probably need something to do, but just due to the lack of, now how hard is it to get a plot of land like this to produce food? How hard is it?
It's not hard at all. There are a lot of neighborhoods, like the 2 lots across the street from where we're standing right now. If you can find the owner, and typically the owner is someone who probably lived there pre-Katrina. If you can get in contact with them, and a lot of neighbors stay in contact with each other, just ask permission to use it.
Well, because if you garden a plot of land, you don't do anything to harm it, right?
No, you don't harm it at all.
You know, what you've done here is you use some concrete blocks as borders.
Right.
But I know people that just mound the earth up. They don't even put borders.
Absolutely.
So we're standing in a community garden, which is interesting because in this community garden, people in the neighborhood have a plot, and they work their own plots. It's not like the community comes in there, because I was always wondering how that worked. You know, how does it work where you get people, they come in and everybody works together and then they share everything? But it doesn't work like that.
Not quite that way.
Okay.
I actually do, as you know, a farmer's market.
Right.
Where what I don't use myself, I end up selling part of.
Okay.
But typically what we do, inside the garden here, as you can see, it's sort of fenced and partitioned off. There's about 6 of us who actually plant inside the garden. And then on a border on the outside where we have the soil between the sidewalk and the fence, we plant things that anyone in the neighborhood can just come and gather and use.
That's great.
That's what makes it a community garden.
That's okay. That's
right.
that's actually great. So, what are you growing?
Right now, the huge onions you see here, I got a chance to plant on February 6th.
What?
I had a nice break in the weather, and by the time I got just this row of, which is white onions, by the time I got that planted, the rain started. That was 6th of February, and it rained most of February. February was super wet, which means I didn't get a chance to do anything else at that time. And then after March came in, it was dry, but it was too cold to try to put anything in the ground.
Okay.
So that box you see, there's actually a cold frame.
Okay.
And the plants I already had as starts, I kept in there to keep them warm enough at night so that they wouldn't dry up and die. And now I'm finally getting a chance to go in and put in the plants and herbs and so on that I want to have here all along.
You mentioned something that was interesting. You talked about the farmers market.
Right.
I know that Sankofa has one down in the lower 9 every Saturday.
Well, actually, it's in the upper 9 now.
Right. It's across. It's on the other side. Right?
Correct.
It's not in
Correct.
the lower 9.
Right.
It's across the. What's the name of the school? Arise Academy.
Correct. Arise Academy,
It's
which used to be
from the
Washington
old,
Elementary.
Right, across from the old Frederick Douglass or Nichols
Correct.
School. Right.
That's correct.
And that's from 10 to 2 on Saturday. But there are other opportunities
Oh,
to
yeah,
sell
absolutely.
stuff too, right?
There are. There are. I have a lot of private customers myself.
Okay.
I have chickens in my backyard,
Okay.
and I sell quite a few eggs.
Yeah.
To yourself.
Yeah.
As one of those
eggs,
customers.
by the way. Beautiful eggs.
And I get calls from time to time because what happens? I sell plant starts in the market.
Right.
And I get a chance to teach people how to cultivate them. A lot of folk in the Bywater and Meriden area only have a patio or just a strip of concrete or something growing. And I show them how to get themselves a nice size, 12, 14, 16-inch pot.
Okay.
Get some rich soil and put it in there and grow a tomato, grow a cucumber, grow a squash, a zucchini. And that sort of gives them the belief that, hey, I can do this. Right. And they come back and they get herbs, a few onions and so on, and they actually expand their gardening.
One of the things that bothers me, and it really does bother me, is that when I look at the urban agriculture trend or movement, there's not a lot of African Americans in it.
You would be surprised. Okay. There actually are quite a few. As a matter of fact, I had a call this past week from someone who writes with The Exchange, a local sort of street paper.
Okay.
And there seems to be the idea that urban farming or urban gardening is kind of a muckety-muck, high income sort of thing. But it really isn't. I know people myself who garden in this neighborhood, and I don't know if you have noticed there's a garden at North Claiborne and Gallier, right? Just before you get to that light of desire. That gentleman has been planting there probably for 20 years.
And and what's really interesting, and particularly young people ought to know this, organic vegetables and fruit, and draw top dollar. Restaurants want them.
Absolutely.
They actually are. If you go into a restaurant with some really good organic produce, they'll fight over it.
They will.
It's because it tastes better, and it makes their food taste better. So I guess what I'm trying to do is encourage. If you're not doing anything, why don't you do something?
Amen. Amen.
And
I agree.
And what you're doing is would really be at the front of a whole movement in this country. And the thing about organic produce, the big companies can't compete. Because when you grow things organically, you're not using chemical fertilizers, you're not using tractor. There is no tractor here.
No, there's no tractor here.
There's a shovel.
There's a shovel
and a pitchfork.
And a gardening rake.
Right.
That's exactly right.
So if you have some time and some energy, you can literally make money. How long does it take you to grow onions from start to finish?
Those onions actually make a nice sized bulb.
Right.
You're looking at probably about a 6 month, 7 month growing cycle.
And then you have other stuff that you're growing with it.
Right. Exactly.
You haven't planted. You don't look like you have tomatoes coming up.
I got a tomato sitting right there, and I'm getting ready to transplant. I have tomatoes in the cold frame
in
there.
the cold frame. Okay.
And they really don't tolerate cold well.
Right.
So I've kept them in the cold frame until they're ready to go into the ground. night temperatures now are staying right around 50. Once we get 50 to 55 degrees at night, then most of the plants can survive.
Okay, all right.
And before you know it, they're saying what, next Monday or Tuesday it'll be in the 80s.
And ladies and gentlemen, and what I have to tell you is I have paid $1 for an organic onion. An organic tomato that weighs what, maybe a half a pound or so.
Maybe half a pound, roughly.
You're gonna pay almost $2 for it.
In many cases,
right.
Yes.
And so organic farming, organic gardening is really a way to turn an empty lot into a really nice chunk of money over a period of a year. And if you're not doing anything, why not? Every person I know that's achieved any significance or success in life can remember the day when they looked up and saw somebody who inspired them. Everybody. You might be that person in the lives of one of the young men in this city. If you have from 1 to no more than 20 hours a year that you are willing to invest in this community, we will make sure that that 1 hour or 20 hours or anywhere in between has impact. We've developed a way of working with kids and working with their education institutions that supports them and their becoming young men. But we need you. We need examples. We need examples of overcomers. African American men who have overcome whatever they had to overcome to do what they had to do to be men for the women and children in their lives. So if you are happy with your success in life, if as a man you are proud of what you've achieved and what you are achieving, please consider investing 1 to 20 hours a year. It's easy. We have a plan. You can check out our website, silverbacksociety.com. We've been doing it for 6 years now, and we know it has impact. So please, join the team. Get on board. And I'll tell you one other thing. You will enjoy this. It's amazing how much the men are enjoying being what they need to be for community. It's our destiny. It's our destiny. And you are that powerful. So please, look down deep inside and make that decision. That we're not going to stand by and let things continue as they are. When all it takes is for grown men to show up and teach little boys how to be like them.